Hey guys, welcome to Tanner's Books and Beyond. I'm Tanner, and these are my books. It is really hot outside today. In fact, it's so hot I almost didn't spend an hour and a half walking around outside and playing Pokemon Go. Almost. But I'm back inside my slightly cooler house, and I figure it's high time I do another tag video, so this is the Intimidating TBR Tag. Now, I was tagged for this by Brandy of I Ramble Randomly, about 3 months ago. I probably could have tried to get to this sooner. So the first one is a book or series on your TBR list that you just haven't been able to finish. And for this, I've got kind of a big one. I have here the complete collection of Frank L. Baum's Wizard of Oz stories, plus one last one written by Ruth Perlney Thompson. This was kind of an impulse buy just because it looks so cool to see everything collected in some really nice books. As you can see, these books are pretty thick and also really heavy. Like, there's 3 full-length novellas in each of these, pretty much. I've only ever been able to complete the first story, which is The Wizard of Oz, because everything that comes after that is a lot less known in popular culture, which sucks because I've always known there are other Oz stories from a fairly young age, and I always wanted to read them, and now I have them, but whenever I try and push my way through them, I hit a wall, and I think it's just because there's so much to get through, and that's why it's such a daunting task. So next on the tag is a book that you just haven't had time to read, and for this I'm going with To the Nines by Janet Vanovich, another book in the Stephanie Plum series of novels. And this is just another one of those tales of, you start the book, you get a few pages in, but either you get a whole bunch of homework, or you have to go to work a bunch, or maybe your family goes on a trip, or maybe you just found another book that you were really excited to read, so you read that one first, and by the time you finished, you'd forgotten about this one. Eventually, this just got put on hold indefinitely. I mean, of course, it doesn't help that I've got all of this stuff to get through as well. The one upside to continuously putting off reading this is the fact that the Stephanie Plum series is not very continuity heavy. There have been some times where I'll stop a series right in the middle, and then when I come back to it a few months later, I've pretty much forgotten every important plot point. But the Stephanie Plum books don't really have plot points that carry from novel to novel to novel, so I don't really have to worry about that. Next up is a book on my list that I haven't been able to read because it's a sequel, and for this one I've chosen William Shakespeare's The Jedi Doth Return. Okay, no, Shakespeare obviously did not actually write the Star Wars films. Or did he? In actuality, this is an adaptation by Ian Doescher that translates The Return of the Jedi into Shakespearean language with a lot of references to Shakespeare plays. And he's done the same thing for the first 6 movies in the series. No word yet on whether he's doing the new trilogy. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Tanner, you've already seen all the Star Wars movies. You already know literally everything that happens, so there's no way that this could spoil or ruin anything for you. However, there is a perfectly valid reason for wanting to read this last and read the whole series in order, and that reason is, I want to. Now, the next 2 entries are supposed to be a book that I haven't read yet because it just came out, and a book that I haven't read because I read the author previously and I didn't really like them. Unfortunately, I don't really have anything that fits those criteria, so we're gonna skip those for now. So instead, the next question is going to be a book on my TBR list that I haven't read because I'm just not in the mood. And for this, I've got... Misery by Stephen King. Over the years, I've read plenty of Stephen King books, but this one has just never felt like a priority to read. I mean, I could even put it at the front of my TBR shelf, but then I'll look at it again and like, nah, I want to read this first, and this keeps on moving further to the back, and I'm sure I'll get to it at some point because I do actually want to read it, but I feel like it's not going to be in the near future. Next is a book on my TBR list that I haven't read because it's enormous, and, for this I'm just gonna, casually gesture behind me at these lovely books right here, and I'm not really gonna say anything else. Now, if I'm keeping track correctly, this should be number 8, which is a book on my TBR list that I bought because of the cover, and for this one, I'm picking Eve and Adam by Michael Grant and Catherine Applegate. Just look at that apple, it's so symbolic and shiny. Now, to be fair, I didn't just get this because of the cover. Michael Grant and Catherine Applegate are the authors of my 2 favorite series of all time, Gone and Animorphs, and so between that and just the way that the book looked, buying this was really a no-brainer. And finally, we have the book on my TBR list that I find the most intimidating, and I could very easily just point at the Wizard of Oz books again, but I want to say something a little bit different for this one. So instead, for this one, I'm choosing volumes 7 to 14 of the manga series Soul Eater. Of course, the reason it's so intimidating is the same principle behind the Oz books. It's just, there's these 8 volumes I need to read, plus another 11 that I've yet to even purchase that I need to read to finish the series, plus there's another spin-off series after that, and I can't remember how many volumes that is, but it's just another thing on top of everything else. So it's definitely the length factor that makes these so daunting. However, these also come with bonus intimidation because I'm heading to an anime convention pretty soon and I plan on buying more, and I don't want to buy any more unless I've already finished these. So now comes the tagging part, and I'm gonna tag whoever wants to be tagged. That's right, kids. If you want to make your own intimidating TBR tag video, then you go for it. My only condition is that you let me know. Either hit me up in the comments or send me a DM. Just tell me that you saw this video and you were inspired to make your own. That'd be really cool. And plus, then we can talk about books and stuff, and we can become friends, because I'm so lonely. But if that's too much for you, it'd still be really cool if you could like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And that pretty much wraps up this video. So until next time, I'll see you all later.